Hello, soulmates, and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show with DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc-Shazad, the Pivot Maestro and heart surgeon for your soul hurts. We are here to bring you freedom, peace, and joy by the witnessing of this candid conversation with my guest today. At Defining Paths International, you are our why and our motivation. We're all about helping you think without the boxes and lifting you into that possibility mindset so that you can serve, profit, and sustain in life and business. We are here to help you navigate those waters and put you back in business as we rise together. That's what it's about. That's what it's supposed to be, rising together through true transparency and love. Candid Conversations is where we engage in real talk with our Define Your Path podcast guests about real experiences, their personal journeys, and the intersections with life and business. So, truth and real talk is the norm without exception to help you heal, rebuild, and transform from the inside out. So, all are welcome to the show. You never know what you might get here, but we guarantee it will always be life and light for your soul. So we are excited to bring back Define Your Path podcast guest spotlight, Vicky Midwood. Vicky, welcome back and welcome to Candid Conversations TV show,
Oh,
sis.
thank you. I'm so excited for this one.
Yes, girl, I have been looking forward to this candid conversation. I just love you're just brilliant. So I want the world to hear more from you and just for us to just follow our flow. So I do want to remind them of who you are, give you that respect. And also I want to encourage them so I don't forget. Folks, if you've not seen her podcast episode, you need to go watch that, right? So, not right now, stay here with us, but go watch that afterwards and then come back and watch this again. So, let me tell you who Vicky is. She is an inspiring health coach, consultant, speaker, and podcaster. Her show is Raw Chatter, so make sure you guys check that out. She's also an educator and eliminator of flawed thinking and harmful habits. With over 33 years in the world of health and wellness, she busts the myths and BS around human health and addiction based on science fact, not science fiction, and personal experience to transform the health and wealth of business owners and CEOs. So, Vicky, girl, let's just pick up. Girl, there were so many juicy things that came out of your podcast spotlight. Let's just pick up, well, starting with the question, how have you risen from the ashes? And then we'll just follow our flow like we do.
Oh, that is such a big question,
Hmm.
lovely, because I've risen multiple times. I
Yes.
truly believe. Um, if you can imagine a 17-year-old, I feel the sheets underneath my heel, and I realize I'm awake, and a single solitary, silent tear drips down the side of my face because I'd failed again to no longer be on the planet.
Mm.
That was the first attempt at me taking an overdose to eliminate my life. And I failed. And I was so heartbroken to have woken up.
Mm.
That was the first of 3 attempts, all of them failures.
Yeah.
However,
Thank God. Bless
the
God.
power above
Hmm.
said,
Yes.
not your time.
Yes.
But what I learned from all of those experiences was that if it's not your time to go, it's not your time to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Divine intervention stepped in. The
Mm.
second time, I took a concoction of tablets, some I'd pinched from my dad's stash of various medications, others I'd pinched
Mm.
from my mum's over a matter of months. And I got extraordinarily drunk, completely passed out, having taken all of these medications,
Mm.
fell asleep in a position where I literally had my knees underneath my chin, and ended up with a deep vein thrombosis that hospitalized me for a month.
Oh,
And I
wow.
went, this is it. Hurrah. It meant I had no access to cigarettes or
Mm.
alcohol. And this was my chance, right? This is my
Mm.
chance to rise from the ashes, because I would be able
Yeah.
to come out of the hospital free. I couldn't binge eat. I couldn't throw up. I wasn't allowed out of bed. I couldn't move. They told me not to move in case the clock
Yeah.
moved.
Yeah.
And so I honestly thought that this was my chance. But guess what? As soon as I went back out, I was with my second husband at this point. The first thing I did, a glass of wine, a cigarette. Why? Because he was. And this was, in hindsight, the rude awakening that just goes to show the power of the people you surround yourself with
Yes.
on you and your habits. So I didn't rise that time.
Yeah.
I spent my 30s, particularly the latter years of my 30s, 34,
Hmm.
trying to think of ways that I could kill myself and my daughter successfully. And everything I
Jesus.
came up with was a scenario of, oh my God, what happens if she dies and I survive? I don't want to be on the planet. What happens if she survives and my family don't look after her because they told me in no uncertain terms that they were going to wash their hands of me? They didn't want to know. If I was in trouble, I was on my own.
Mm.
And so every part of me was trying to figure out. I had visions of me driving on the motorway and deliberately crossing over into the oncoming traffic, visions of us jumping into the subway.
Wow.
Thankfully, none of them happened because
Yeah.
something else stepped in.
Mm.
And the power of the universe, coincidence, timing, whatever you want to say, meant that fortunately for me, I was granted a reprieve. I literally ended up in rehab in 2005.
Mm.
And in that rehab, there was a gentleman who recognized that if I went home after the standard 30 days, I would probably relapse. And physically, my body just couldn't take any more battering.
Mm.
And he said,
Wow.
I suggest you don't go home. I suggest you go to South Africa, where we have an affiliation with another rehab out there and a secondary facility where basically you can learn to function as a grown up without being
Hmm.
dependent on alcohol. And
Hmm.
if it hadn't have been for him and a voice that wasn't my own that
Yes.
said, yes, I'll go,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be sat here talking to you right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Girl, and I just bless God that you are, because that absolute vulnerable, transparent, strength-filled sharing, you know, I mean, that's real. It's real talk. And you're not the only person. I know there are people who are watching this who have had those thoughts, right? Or who have made those attempts,
Yeah.
but yet there was something higher that stayed their hands, and
Right.
they're here for a reason, a purpose, and just to see you now walking in your beautiful, amazing purpose, bringing life and light, girl, it
I am
just blesses
so
my
grateful.
soul.
I am
Mm.
so grateful for that collision of circumstances that
Yeah.
put all of the dominoes in place, because it wasn't just a one
Yeah.
day thing. Suddenly I'm in rehab. It was a
Yeah.
series of events that landed me up there. And I just think that there are so many women who need to understand that I had no clue how my brain was working and
Yeah.
what I was doing in terms of the amount that I was drinking, and I was smoking, and I wasn't eating properly. I had no clue then, like I now do, on
Yeah.
just the devastating effect that combination of things has on how our hormones work, on how our nervous system functions, on the messages that are going to our brain or not, and then
Mm-hmm.
how we think and feel about what's going on. I had no
Yeah.
clue of the devastating effects of that combination of everything. And it does floor your thinking. And it's not because I am flawed or any of us are
Mm-hmm.
flawed, but it's
Right.
because of the behavior patterns, the things that we turn to as a solution to make
Yes.
us feel better, biochemically, physiologically, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
change how we see things, how we perceive things, our interpretation of things, and therefore what we think we need to do. And in my
Yes.
case, and in many females' cases, we think the solution is to just not be here anymore. I'm a
Yeah.
waste of space. There's no point. And oftentimes we think we have to recognize that there are more women
Mm-hmm.
than men who attempt suicide. There are more men
Mm-hmm.
who succeed because they
Mm-hmm.
tend to utilize more violent methods. But
Yes.
a lot of women tend to go down the kind of the pill
Right.
overdosing route.
Yeah.
And there's something that says, hey, not your
Yeah.
time. It is not your time. And I
Yeah.
was very fortunate that I had a second incident. And I'm saying fortunate, and people who
Yeah.
are now going to hear the next bit, what should mean fortunate? I had a heart attack in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a lot of women, 46% of women,
Yes.
only know that they've got heart issues because they have a heart attack, and that's the end. They don't
Yeah.
live to tell the tale. No
Mm.
signs, no symptoms, they drop down
Yeah.
dead. So
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I
Yes.
wasn't one of those statistics. And again,
Absolutely.
wasn't my time.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from that was an extra layer of
Mm.
understanding, and that was the power of stress.
Yes.
And,
Oh, girl.
and as females,
Yes.
particularly business owners, parents, if you also have parents who are still alive and maybe you're looking after them and you've got teenagers who are going through their
Mm-hmm.
own struggles and you're running a business and maybe you have a partner and you're running a home,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure and stress. If you add on to that
Mm-hmm.
this belief that we have to be more than, we have to be better than, we
Right.
have
Have to
to
be
remember,
perfect.
we
Right.
have to be
Yeah.
perfect. We put
Yeah.
all of that stress on.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can just take one little thing to go wrong that you're
Mm-hmm.
grasping to take back control of, but you can't. And that was the stress that just tipped me over
Yeah.
the edge and landed up with me fainting in the kitchen, smacking my
Oh,
head
girl.
open, thinking I just got a virus, not
Wow.
recognizing that I had a
Yeah.
heart attack. But I am so grateful that I
Yes.
survived it.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's added on an extra layer to my understanding of
Mm-hmm.
all of the elements that we need
Yes.
to be really aware of to help
Yes.
us to feel and function well as business owners and as females.
Yes. All of the elements.
All.
That girl, you just said that's everything because we don't process all, right? We're not taught that. We don't have the experiences usually until it's too late or close
Right.
to being too late
Yeah.
to wake up to that fact that it's more than just what we see every day, the shell that's existing. But there's so much more going on so many levels, energetically, chemically, spiritually, all of
Hormonally. Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah. And also, when we think about, you know, we're living in an environment now where you can't kind of cut everything off. So you're going
Mm-hmm.
to be exposed
Yeah.
to stuff that you weren't exposed to 100 years ago. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't know everything that was going on all over the world
Yes.
like we do now. And so we didn't used to be necessarily affected so much by stuff
Mm-hmm.
outside of our control. But
Right.
now we're seeing all this stuff and we're hearing about what's going on in other countries. And there's this kind of feeling that I need to do more, I need to be more, I need to do better.
Yes.
And it's like, when are we just going to be able to give ourselves permission to just stop and actually look at what we have got, what we
Yes.
have achieved? And when you're able to do that, it just gives you a little shift on perspective.
Absolutely.
And that's sometimes all that's required for us to
Yeah.
start to think and feel just a little bit differently. And I think
Yes.
it's not about making grand gestures, because let's face it, it's
Mm-mm.
Christmas,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
What happens? Christmas, New
Yeah.
Year. What, there's this
Yeah.
kind of, somehow we've like magicalized January, that everything's going to be suddenly different. I'll wait till
Right.
January. I'll be healthy in January. I'll drink less in January. It's like
Yeah.
we decide that we're going to make these grand gestures
Mm-hmm.
and do all of the things that we tell ourselves we should be doing, but we're not doing. because we
Yes.
think because social media said and somebody told us and Granny
Right.
told me that she'd read this article and
And we see everybody else
and
doing
we
it.
see
Yeah.
everybody else
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, but stop a moment.
Mm-hmm.
What are you already doing
Yes.
that you are doing consistently and is making sure that you can get out of bed this morning and you are functioning? Give
I
yourself
love
some
it.
kudos for the
Yes.
stuff you are doing, and then go, how could I make that just a tiny bit better?
I
A
love it.
little bit better. So, are you
Yes.
eating regularly? Yes. But are you including some protein at every meal? No. Can I try and increase the amount of meals that have protein in just by one today? Right?
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah.
doable as
Yes.
opposed to, right, that's it. I'm going to write out this meal plan and I'm going to
Mhm.
do all the food prep. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. Just
Stop the
stop.
madness.
Right? Because that's just another layer of
Yes.
pressure that you're
Yeah.
putting yourself under. And then what happens when we don't do it? We decide we're
Right.
not good enough, we're a
Exactly.
failure. Now
Mm-hmm.
that bottle of wine looks very enticing. So does the chocolates, because it's like, well, you know what? I've blown
Yeah.
it. And so
Yes.
we all resonate with this.
Absolutely.
It's not just people who have got issues with food or with alcohol. We
Mm-hmm.
all utilize these things. Why? Because society's told us that they're socially acceptable.
Exactly.
And they're
Yeah.
marketed to us as a solution.
Yes.
Wind down with a glass of wine. Enjoy yourself with a beer. Be the life and soul of party with this particular spirit. So we fall for it, and it's not our
Yes.
fault, but it is our responsibility if we want to feel and function better to
Mm-hmm.
make different choices. And so when I had that second chance, when I
Yes.
got out of rehab, I asked myself the big question: do I even want to stay in the world of health and wellness? I was a fitness
Mm-hmm.
instructor.
Yes.
And I got into fitness instructing because in my head,
Mm-hmm.
it was a really good excuse to not have to eat and to exercise legitimately as much as
Girl.
I wanted, right? So it
Yeah.
perpetuated my
Yeah.
bulimia, and nobody thought twice about it. Why would they? Well, and
Right.
I had this persona of a
Mm.
healthy person.
Yes.
And the truth is, me and the other two fitness instructors who worked in the gym that I did at the time, we were in our
Yeah.
20s, 21, 22. We
Uh-huh.
would nip out the fire escape for a cigarette and then come in and teach our exercise classes. We would go to the pub
Yeah.
after we'd done our shift at the gym and be
Yeah.
there till God knows what time. So we were showing the people who were coming to the gym this ideal
Yeah.
of fitness, and we were just living a completely
Yeah.
different story. But
Mm.
this is often what we do. You know,
We wear these masks.
we wear these masks, we fit the role, we are basically fooling other people. And in the process, we kind of trying to fool ourselves,
Yes.
except we know the truth, don't
We
we?
know the truth.
And that's
Mm.
the hard bit.
And that's what eats away at us also, eats away at our soul.
And that's the beauty of being able to be in the ashes, because when you're there in the ashes, you get the opportunity to
Yes.
look through all
Ooh,
of the debris and all of the
girl.
crap.
Yes, I love that. Viewing the ashes as a place of beauty, right? Of opportunity for
Discovery,
creation. Yes,
right?
and discovering.
You
Yes.
discover all of the stuff that you
Mm,
kind of don't want to take with you, because you could,
absolutely.
right? You
Yeah.
could if you wanted, but you also have the choice to
Oh,
not. But you
yes.
can't not take all of that with you if you're not
Yeah.
even aware of what it is.
Yes.
And so that was what allowed me to rise, was to look
Mm,
in and to do the work. And the first thing was, do I even want to stay in the fitness industry? Is that something that is actually exacerbating my
mm-hmm,
fixation with how I looked? And I
mm-hmm.
decided, no, I wasn't going to let it. I wanted to have a better relationship with exercise and with my body, and not use exercise as a way of earning calories
Yes.
or allowing myself to eat, but to
Mm-hmm.
actually exercise because guess what? It makes you
Mm,
feel good. Guess
yes.
what? It makes your whole body function better. And crucially, as I started to understand this so
Yes.
much more, it makes your
Mm-hmm.
brain function better.
Yes.
And that to me was like, okay, now I've got a completely different purpose. I'm not exercising to burn calories and to watch the number going up on a treadmill. I'm
Mm-hmm.
exercising because there's a purpose. I want to be
Yes.
strong.
Oh, I
I
love
want to
it.
be
Mm-hmm.
resilient, and I want my brain to work
Yes.
better.
I love
For me,
that.
for me, the biggest fear, Dr. V, because my mum was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 10.
Mm.
I didn't know what that meant, but then it was called manic depression. And
Yes.
I absolutely understood as I got older that episodes of mania grew more extreme and more frequent.
Yes.
And my dad's and my mum's relationship, because of her illness, was pretty fraught. My dad
Mm-hmm.
was a workaholic and to some degree a perfectionist, with
Mm-hmm.
high expectations of both me and my brother, but also of my mum. And he
Mm.
just didn't get a
Yes.
mental health illness. Show him a broken arm, he could
Right.
give you sympathy
Yeah.
and would help. But
Right.
when it came to it being a mental illness that swings between mom being the life and soul of the party and very reminiscent to the woman he fell in love with, and then being completely not able to function or get out of bed,
Yes.
he couldn't get his head around that. And so
Mm.
there was a lot of violence, a lot of shouting, a lot of arguing in that environment. And I just kind of didn't know who I was. So I know now that I took on the persona of trying to be the the kind of the housewife so that she
Yeah.
wouldn't get into trouble. So I would do the
Mm.
cleaning and I
Yes.
would do the
Right.
cooking and I would do the ironing so that there wouldn't be an argument and there wouldn't be
Yes.
a fight. And oftentimes now when I look back, I was taking on responsibilities that really I wasn't capable of really doing, as
Yeah.
well as, knowing how to be a child. I didn't really
Yes.
know. I didn't know.
Right.
And so when I had the opportunity, and I'm saying it's an opportunity because it was like a gift,
Yes.
I had that space in rehab to look at all of this stuff and to get brutally, radically honest.
Yes.
Because I recognized with the help of the therapists who were there that the only one judging me was me. And the
Mm.
only reason I was judging myself in the harsh way that I did was
Yeah.
because of the environment that I'd grown up in. And I'd learnt that. I'd learned that harsh criticism from my dad, who'd learnt it from his dad and from his school teachers and from the era that
Mm-hmm.
he was in. It was very
Yes.
old school. And once I understood that that was just programming, and the
Mm-hmm.
brain is plastic. So what
Yes.
we're programmed with is not rigid. We can
Yeah.
change it. And by the way, that programming in your brain changes your DNA and changes
Mm-hmm.
your gene structure so you can pass on different genetics. I was like, okay, what do we need to
Right.
do? let's do something
Let's
different. Let's
go.
learn how to reprogram this incredible organ
Yes.
so that I can then make different choices, different behaviors, think differently, see things differently. And
Yeah.
for me, you kind of have to do the dirty work, which is
Yes.
sorting through the ashes. And I
Yeah.
liken it a little bit like, have you ever, I don't know if you've done this, but have you ever bought a property or been into a property that
Mm-hmm.
has never been looked after? I mean, it's just like derelict, it's horrible,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
you the first thing you got to
It
do
was
is
a whole project. Yeah.
clear out all of the rubbish,
Yes.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
the gunk that's on the floor and the
Yeah.
disgusting that's right. You got to get rid of all of the crap, basically,
Yes. That's how I was
right?
introduced to tax strips.
Right. So you've got to do that, and
Yeah.
because with the vision that you can see of that
Yeah.
finished project,
Mm-hmm.
that can't happen, can it?
Mm-mm.
Unless you clear out
You
all of the
clear all
crap,
the
and that
junk.
means all of it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just leave a little bit. You can't
Right.
leave one. I'm not going in that
Right.
room.
Right.
I don't want to look at that part of my life. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're all in. You clear out all the crap because
Yeah.
then you've got full awareness.
Yes.
Some of the stuff, you know what? Hey, look at this. I found this in that
Yeah.
spare bedroom, and you clean it all up and it's, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
incredible. So you might want to keep some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But at least when you've got the awareness, you have choice.
Yes.
When
And
you've no
that's it.
awareness,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't got the choice because sometimes you don't even know that there is a choice. It's
Yes.
just automatic. You can't know what you don't know.
And
And so for me,
yeah.
that was my opportunity to ask myself the question, do I even want to stay in the fitness industry? And again,
Mm-hmm.
something bigger than me stepped in. A
Mm.
situation happened where I thought, you know what? I'm going to exercise because I want to feel good. I'm going to join a gym. Instead of teaching a
Yeah.
gym, I'm going to join a gym.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I thought, I'm going to be a class participant instead of being the instructor at the front of the room. And I went into this class, and the room was full, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and there's no instructor coming, and everybody's looking around the room going. And then
Did you
again, it was
step up? Yeah.
this voice that didn't
Yeah.
seem to come from me when I'll teach it. And I was like, I had no music. I had nothing. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And they went, oh, will you? And I went, well, I thought, oh, shoot. I just went, I've got now 26 in the car on a CD. I'm talking in the
Wow.
early 2005, this was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So run out to the car in the car park, fly back up into the studio, put this CD on. I don't know what track's on. If you know
Yeah.
now, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They're all different speeds. It's all
Right. Right.
whatever track came on. I was just like dove back into my kind of encyclopedia of combinations, and I just put
Right.
this thing together. And every single person came up to me and went, can you teach here?
Yeah.
And I went, okay, so that's answered that question then.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stay
Yeah.
in this fitness industry, but I wanted to do it differently.
You came with a greater awareness and an understanding this time.
Correct. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, so let's look at what else can you do. And so my brain went, well, you know what, because of my eating disorders, I did terribly in my A levels. In the UK, we have, back in the day, O levels and A levels. It's
Mm-hmm.
changed a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea is you go on to university, you do a degree. I started doing a further education course because of my eating disorders. I flunked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, you know what, maybe now's my chance. Maybe now's
Mm.
my chance to go back and get an education and be the first one in my family to wear a cap and gown.
Yes.
And so I decided that I would take a degree and learn to become a teacher.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, rather than me being a personal trainer and fitness instructor, maybe I can teach people to become personal
Mm-hmm.
trainers and fitness instructors. So that was the intention. And so I was teaching a few classes on my terms, not full time, and teaching and literally learning how to become a teacher and loving it, and
Mm.
so much so that I got the bug. And then something happened. I saw an advert or something popped up whilst I was
Yeah.
at that college of education, and I was just like, okay, addiction
Um,
psychology masters. And somebody went, you should apply for that. And I went, well, don't be silly, I haven't got a degree, I can't apply for a master's. I just went, apply for it anyway. So
yeah.
I did, and I went for an interview, and the guy said, yeah, okay, you haven't got a degree, but with the experience that you have, you
Mm-hmm.
can do this course. So I'm
Mm.
training to be a teacher, I'm doing my master's, and I'm starting to run my business and bringing up my daughter. And yeah, it
Wow.
was, all of it was a challenge.
Yeah.
But this was me recognizing that I had no idea where I was going to go with this stuff,
Yeah.
but I just started to do the next thing that was put in front of me.
Yes.
And that is something that takes a massive leap of faith
Mm-hmm.
to be able to
Tremendous.
do. And I truly believe that because of what happened, because I had that time, that space to look at myself and to recognize none of us know what the future holds.
Mm-hmm.
What do they say about the best laid plans?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So
Right.
even if we plan and we do know, or we
Yeah.
think we know, there's so much that's out of our control.
Yes.
And if you stop trying to be in control, but actually start to listen and tune in and look out for the opportunities that get presented to you along the way,
Yes.
instead of going, this is mine, this is my show, I'm running it, right? If you
Right.
go, oh, look, oh, there's that and there's that.
Yes.
And once you start to go, do you know what? I'm going to try that one. And if that's not the right one, let it go. Oh, what about this one? And when
Yes.
you allow yourself to just be led by the next thing that comes up,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know where it's going to go, but it just feels like the right thing to do.
Yes.
That, I think, for me, enabled me to get to where I am now, and to kind of define my path as I now do define it, just
Absolutely.
helping people to reconnect, to
Yeah.
discover who they are, and to realize that all of the things that we think we need
Mm-hmm.
to help us to feel better about ourselves externally, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
food or alcohol or money or clothes or whatever it happens to be,
Mm-hmm.
unless you feel a sense of contentment internally,
Yes.
you're never going to get what you think you're going to get from those things.
Without question. Girl, amen. Thank you. Girl, yes. This from A to
We're
Z.
searching. Yeah,
We're searching.
all of the time, and it's, we
Yes.
don't recognize that all of this stuff that society says
Yes.
puts you in a box so that
Yeah.
we feel we want to fit in. And when we understand how we function as
Mm-hmm.
human beings, and you understand why we feel like that, and it's back to evolution, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. If you weren't a part of the tribe, then the chances are back in the day you weren't going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, think about it, we're all cavemen wandering through the wilderness. We don't know where we're going to find the next bit of shelter or the next bit of food. If you're over there somewhere miles away on your own, then the chances are you're probably going to get eaten or you're not going to survive. When you
Yes.
fit in and you're a part of, you're probably going to survive. Right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's an instinct, it's a
Yes.
survival part of our brain. The oldest reptile part of our brain kicks in, and it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't necessarily recognize that this is why we think we need to do these things, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is.
Yes.
But what you never stop to ask is, yeah, but is everybody else happy?
Yeah.
Are they content? Are they
Right.
fulfilled?
Yes.
And the answer is, in today's world, Dr. V, we don't know, do we?
No, we don't.
Because we see everybody's kind of perfect reels.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly. They're reels, they're masks, all of this, or even, I mean, the I think sometimes even the sadder part is when people say, well, I'm reasonably happy, therefore I'll be content. That's, that breaks my heart that you
Yeah.
think your worth is only worth being reasonably happy, and it's it's sad that we've come to this space and place. Girl, there were so many things, there's so many strings to pull in what you just said. But yeah, go ahead. I think you were about to say something.
I think the thing is, when you allow yourself to get honest,
Yes,
and I keep coming back to allowing and permission, because
that's where I wanted to go to. Yep.
we we
Let's.
so
Hmm.
we so
Yeah.
unsure of,
Yes.
am I allowed? And when I speak to some of my younger clients who on the journey of eating disorders, often 17, 18 is when anorexia can kick in.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know it can do a lot younger,
Yes.
but a lot of the young people say the same thing. It's, and they will ask me, am I allowed? We've got this, I call it good girl syndrome,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
You have to, we've been taught, and it's been passed down through generations,
Hmm.
that there is a certain way of being. You have to have manners, you have to be polite, you have to be to some degree subservient and nice, and don't upset anybody.
Hmm.
And so we're terrified of saying the wrong thing or making a mistake.
Yes.
And because of that, we've lost the ability
Yes.
to allow ourselves to just be. And especially if you've grown up in an environment where maybe you've got siblings and maybe it wasn't you, but you
Hmm.
saw somebody getting punished in some way, shape, or form
Yes.
for
Yeah.
making a mistake, then the programming goes in, don't make a mistake.
Right.
Right? Because there are consequences and you don't want that. you know Same thing if somebody gets teased or kind of poked fun at because of the way that they
Hmm.
speak or the way that they look. And so now the programming is, oh my god, you have to look a certain way, otherwise
Yes.
people will pick on you. And so we've got this fear building when
Yes.
we're kids, and we don't want to get it wrong. And then what happens when you go to school? it gets exacerbated, doesn't it? Because
Yes.
everything seems to be black and white. It's right. You do a spelling test, you got it right, you got it wrong. You do a
Right.
math test, you got it right. We're all about
Mm-hmm.
testing and telling kids, if
Yes.
you get things right, you are good. If
Mm-hmm.
you get things wrong, you are bad. There's that horrible programming. I mean, school does so much damage. Don't get me started on school.
Yeah, girl, look, that can be a whole nother kind. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so that it's happening at school and then it's potentially happening at home. And
Mm-hmm.
so by the time you get to being a teenager where your hormones are having a flipping party and you don't know what the hell's
Yes.
going on, right? You
Right.
have no clue
Yeah.
what's right, what's wrong, what's allowed, what's not.
Right.
And you're even more disconnected from your body. So anything that comes along that gives you a sense of relief or
Mm-hmm.
calming or
Yes.
reprieve or just to numb out or switch off, you can see why that is so
Yeah.
attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have to go
Absolutely.
there. I don't have to, I
Right.
don't have to, I can just go, I'm hiding. And then the
Yes.
more we do that, then the harder it is to give
Yeah.
ourselves permission to look at the stuff we don't want to feel and we don't want to see. And we
Absolutely.
don't do it intentionally.
No.
And this is where it's so challenging because by the time we get to midlife, we've kind of somehow bumbled and mumbled our way through with these masks and with these personas and
Yeah.
sometimes with having fantastic days and then other days just like diving under the duvet and not wanting to face the world and just going, well, do you know what, this is normal, this is
Yeah.
life, and we just kind of get on with it. But the
Yes.
truth of it is that for a lot of us that means that there are physical health consequences,
Yes.
whether it's migraines, whether it's back pain, whether it's gut issues, all of these things, the physical manifestation of
Mm-hmm.
emotional and mental stress, as you know, is
Yes.
huge. And we're not taught that connection. In fact,
Yeah.
we're taught the opposite.
We're
Because
not
if we
talking
have a
about
pain,
it. Yeah.
right, but also think when you were a kid,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you had a tummy ache, what
Mm-hmm.
often did you get told? Oh,
Hmm.
don't worry about it. It'll go
Yeah.
off, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, ignore the pain.
Yes.
Right? Instead of going, oh, what did you eat? Did you eat too quickly? Were you chewing it well? Yeah, have you eaten something that potentially your body doesn't particularly like? You weren't
Right.
taught to ask those questions,
No.
right? Oh, I've got a headache. Take a painkiller. Not,
Mm-hmm.
are you hydrated? Have you been
Yes.
holding your head in a strange
Girl,
position,
so
right? Are
good.
you stressed?
Yes.
We're not taught to ask, well, what could be the cause of it? What are we taught? Get
Yeah.
rid of it
Get rid of it.
ASAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of the pain. In other words, don't face into the pain. Don't turn and go, hello, what are you trying to
Yes.
tell me?
Ignore it.
Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Push it away.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is why then when we go, well, am I allowed? Am
Mm-hmm.
I allowed to turn into it? Am I allowed to ask questions? Yeah, but
Mm.
what if I don't
So
like it?
good.
What if I
Yeah.
don't like it? What do I do then? Well then
Mm.
guess what? You learn how to manage it. You learn how
Yes.
to handle it. And that's where the fear kicks in.
Yes.
And so
Absolutely.
oftentimes it's not that we won't give ourselves permission, and it's not that we are not allowing, it's it's the fear that is stopping us from even going there.
It stops us because it's again the allowing piece. We're not allowing ourselves to feel it, right? So we can't even start to examine it, or and that examination helps us embrace it. So
Correct.
we can't accept that it's there, that we have it, it exists. So if we can't get there, we can't release it. Or at the very least relegate it to a back seat someplace, a corner where
Yeah, so
so
true.
it's all interconnected, but
And it can't
because
not be. Yeah.
it can't not be, but because and I love what you just broken down just so beautifully about the messaging, right? And it comes in all different types of ways, but it's the same message going into us of
Yep.
ignore.
Ignore.
If you don't, you're not this, or you can't do that, or so all of that messaging is going in. And it's literally constantly, every single one of them is disconnecting us from the soul, is disconnecting us from what should be our reality, is disconnecting us from our intent and purpose, for being here. And you're so right. I say, all the time about just the educational system. And yeah, I mean, multiple degrees, yes, but I would get into, when I had the revelation of how people could actually come to a university setting and not have just this basic ability to handle just that change, that shift, because of the paths they had been placed on, or the people they had been around, or the conditioning that they receive, or the sociocultural religious limitations, to even ask, to feel comfortable asking, but yet they would just suffer in silence, or heaven forbid, encounter students who did take themselves out,
Right.
and this is all very real. We're not taught basic critical thinking through life experience, right? We're just taught to react, to be reactive as opposed to proactive, which the line of questioning you shared would help you be proactive, could help you stave off some of these conditions later in life, which,
Right.
we've both experienced, and would help keep your mind, body, soul intact so that you could function and serve and profit and sustain, in health and wealth. I mean, it's all
Yeah, it's so
interconnected.
true.
And that's why it frustrates me to the nth degree, as my mother would say. When people try to say, oh no, but this or but that, right? This, that's not as important
Fighting
as
for their
this.
limitations.
Oh my girl, you know what, girl? I love you. Fighting for your limitations, living in that and walking in it and thinking you're good, you're right, but not being able, not walking with that open mind, that openness, that, like, that's divine, that God can use, right? We think we're you know doing what
It's
we
protection.
it's protection. It's
And this is
protection.
the bit that we don't necessarily understand, because it's
Yes.
back to that primal, it's back to that evolution. We're protecting ourselves, because
Yes.
if I reiterate to you what
Mm-hmm.
I believe and what I know,
Mm-hmm.
that makes me feel safer. And if I
Yes.
feel safer, I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay. I can stay in my identity. I don't have to change, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to try and convince you
Mm-hmm.
to see things from my point of view, so I can stay
Yeah.
safe in
Yes.
my little bubble. and
Yes.
and the truth is, yes, you can do that. And some people go through life doing that, and it's cool and it works.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of people, they know that that feels out of integrity with who they really are.
Yes.
But the fear is often, but if I'm not that, who am I?
Who am I? Yes.
Who am I? And I don't know. And maybe the person I don't know who I am isn't very nice and people won't
Mm-hmm.
like me. So what do? We stay safe, right? It's
Yes.
protection. That's all it
It
is. It's
is.
very primal.
Mm-hmm.
And when we understand, and again, it comes back to understanding the brain. And
Mm-hmm.
if you like, there's like three bits to the brain. There's the
Yeah.
reptilian bit, the oldest bit, the spinal cord, and
Yeah.
then you've got the next level, which is the kind of, if you like, the human part of the brain. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then we think about, it's kind of like the mammalian part of the brain,
Mm-hmm.
if you like, is the nurturer. And then the third bit is the part that allows you to make decisions. It's the bit that differentiates you from everything else. The decision
Mm-hmm.
making, the bit that makes us think we're smart.
Yes.
Okay. But
Yeah.
the oldest bit, the reptile bit, is fast. It
Yes.
works fast, fast, fast. This is where it kicks in before you even know it. If you're going to get
Yeah.
run over by a bus, you don't think about running, you're
Right.
already running, right?
Right.
That's because of this old part of the brain, right?
Yes.
It wants you to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And over and above all, even this thinking part, the people who think they're so smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's so much slower. It's
Yes.
so much slower. This guy's kicked in way before this one's even thought about it, right?
Yes.
And so this is why we find ourselves repeating habits and behavior patterns, because we've
Yes.
repeated them so many times. Reptile
Mm-hmm.
part of the brain thinks you need to do that to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will keep doing what we've always done, not because we're stupid and not necessarily
Yes.
because we're addicts and not because we're resilient to change or we're being awkward or stubborn or whatever word you choose to use.
Right.
But your brain works that way. Now,
Yes.
when you know that, you can get conscious.
Yes.
And when you get
Girl.
conscious, you
Yes.
can then start to make a different decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that takes effort. And what we've got to remember is the brain's got two things. That's all. It just got two jobs, right? One is to stop you from dying.
Mm-hmm.
One is to use as little energy as possible. Yeah,
Mm.
that's it. Just two main reasons, okay? That anything that makes you feel uncomfortable equals a threat, and
Mm.
threat equals death.
Yes.
So if you're arguing with me and you're not going to change your mind and I'm feeling threatened, every part of my nervous system and this old part of my brain is going to go, oh
Yes.
my God, we're going to die, we're going to die. We're going to convince you even more. We're going to be
Mm-hmm.
even more resilient in pounding away at our belief because I need to stay safe, because if I'm safe, I will stay alive. Yeah. Then
Yes.
I'm going to go do something to help my nervous system calm down that is very automatic. And it might be eat some chocolate, or it might
Mm.
be go and have a drink, right? Because your
Yes.
nervous system needs to calm down. And what you don't realize is that's just an automatic way
Yes.
of helping you to stay safe. It doesn't take energy.
Yes.
You don't have to go away and start going, oh, I better reflect on that
Mm-hmm.
conversation and see
Yeah.
how I could have handled it better and what is really going on. No, we don't do that, do we? We might
No.
sit in front of the TV and open a bag of popcorn.
Right.
Why? Because it doesn't take any energy.
Yes.
And so when you realize the brain is programmed for you to not die, in other words, not feel under threat, and
Mm-hmm.
for you to utilize as little energy as possible, you can understand why we feel it's difficult to give ourselves
Mm-hmm.
permission to do things differently and to
So
make
good.
changes. And
Yes.
as you said, everything is connected. So I believe that to some degree, knowledge is power, but implementation is what gives the power, the energy to actually make the difference, to help you to make the changes. And so if you can then go, right, what do I need to do? What is one thing that I can do differently that might elicit a threat response,
Mm-hmm.
but I can handle it because I'm going to start talking to my brain. And
Yes.
when you talk to your own
Mm.
brain and go, hey, brain, I know you think I'm under threat and therefore
Yeah.
you think I'm going to die. I'm just going to tell you, I'm all right. I'm safe.
Yes.
And this is where, when we connect, and I'm doing this with my hands because skin to skin connection,
Yes.
so important.
Yes.
So, so important. If it's your own skin to skin or if it's yours and
Mm.
somebody else's, but if it's you yourself, put your hand on your heart or
Yes.
put a hand on your heart and your head, because we've got
Mm-hmm.
head and heart coherence. We've
Yes.
also got heart and gut coherence. We've
Mm-hmm.
also got gut, heart, and head coherence. In other words,
Yeah.
all of
Mm-hmm.
these are connected and
Mm-hmm.
work together. And once you can go, I'm safe, I am
Yes.
calm, all is well. And then you can allow yourself to take that baby step
Yes.
that just opens the door to a little bit of change that is not
Yes.
going to freak out your nervous system. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
have a complete personality change, but
Yes.
over time, you will shift your identity from a closed minded person
Yes.
to a more open minded person. But you do have to put in effort and it does have to be conscious.
Yes. It's the mind, the body, the soul connection. Because people don't process that gut area. That's our room for women, right? That's our soul.
Yep,
That visual of where our soul resides. You know,
absolutely.
and oh my goodness, just
And
girl,
we look
yes.
at, those people who, I mean, the beauty of being a health coach and not
Mm-hmm.
in the kind of world where I have to be a therapist or a psychiatrist or a
Yes.
psychologist and work in certain strict modalities. I can pick
Right.
and choose from so many
Mm-hmm.
different things, whether it's functional medicine, integrative
Right.
health, whether it's
I love
essential
it.
oils, whether it's
Yeah.
Reiki, whether it's yoga or Pilates or hands-on,
Yes.
utilizing something like havening, where you're connecting skin to skin. All of these modalities, but when we look at the chakras, the energy
Mm-hmm.
systems of the body, and the meridian lines, the people who do acupuncture, right? When you look at Chinese medicine and Eastern
Yes.
philosophies, right? This stuff isn't new. This has been
Mm-mm.
around for millennia.
Yeah.
Everything is connected to everything else. In the US, in Australia, kind of in the Western world, we're a little
Mm-hmm.
bit stupid really on this stuff because we
Mm-hmm.
think that we don't need that because it's kind of
Yes.
old hat. And it's like, well, hello, this is why we're still functioning as
Yes.
humans,
Yes.
because of that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, when you realize, when you look at all of the chakras, everything's in alignment. And
Yes.
so you look at the womb, you look at the sacral chakra, you look at what is then going on, and your gut has a whole nervous system of its own called the enteric nervous system. And
Mm-hmm.
there's more nerves in your gut than there are on your spinal cord. Your gut
Mm-hmm.
speaks much more to your brain than your brain
Mm-hmm.
speaks to your gut. There's this
Yes.
massive, huge nerve called
Huge.
the vagus nerve
Yeah.
that connects
Mm-hmm.
your head to your heart, to your lungs, to your digestive system, to your gut. In other words, everything is interlinked, it's interconnected,
Mm-hmm.
and it should work together like a finely tuned orchestra. But
Yes.
what do? We chop it into bits.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh, you've got gut problems. Let me focus on your gut.
Yeah.
Or you've
Yeah.
got head problems, mental health. Let me focus on your head.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Let's look at all of it and look at
Yes.
our language. And
Yes.
one of the things that really excited me when I was given that opportunity to literally rise up after rehab, it really was my awakening, was to learn the power of language and the
Mm-hmm.
power and the energy of certain words and how they make you feel.
Yes.
One of the things in rehab was the serenity prayer, which
Mm-hmm.
I know
It's my
you're
favorite.
familiar with, but
Yes.
not everybody is
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Yes.
And you don't have to use the word God to start with, but you can. But just grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now that kept me going. When I
Yes.
got out of rehab, it kept me going, and it still does now. When I
Mm.
have wobbles, because like everybody, I am a
Right.
human, I am not
Yeah.
perfect, right? And I have my wobbles still.
Yes.
And I have those moments where I question, what am I doing? There's
Mm-hmm.
other people out there who know more than me, who are better than me, and blah, blah, blah. This comparisonitis that
Yeah.
literally
Oh, girl.
can
Competition and
paralyze
comparison.
us. Yeah,
Yes.
it can be paralyzing
Yes.
until tune into that serenity prayer. And and here's the thing, when I first said that and they said we're going to say the serenity prayer, literally I had to ask, what does serenity mean? I had no clue even what that
Mm.
word meant, let alone to be able to connect it to a sensation or a feeling energetically.
Yes.
Not the foggiest, right? And
Wow.
that's when I realized the power of language.
Yes.
And DocV, I couldn't even tell you. If somebody said to you, how are you feeling? I honestly couldn't tell you. I was so
Mm-hmm.
disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And so my path has been to reconnect to what are my feelings. I literally had to be given the little emojis on charts to have a kind of a clue as to what I was feeling, because I had literally taught myself to fit in. Well, how do you feel? Well, I feel like that too. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know how
Mm-hmm.
I felt. That's how disconnected I was. And so when you look at
Wow.
words and the power that they have and playing with words,
Mm-hmm.
try saying the word depressed, right? And your whole body just goes,
You feel the energy. Yes.
right? You can't say depressed with a smile on your face. It's really, really difficult because it's
Mm.
heavy. It makes you feel heavy. But if you
Yes.
say something like joy, right,
Yes.
it's really hard to go joy.
Right.
You do.
Right.
So words have got energy, they've got power, and when you
Yes.
understand that Words have different meanings to different
Mm-hmm.
people. Take America and the US, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have a fanny pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
We call it
Yes.
a bum bag,
Right, right.
right? And it's like, yeah, if we say fanny pack in the UK, everybody starts laughing because
Right.
fanny means something else,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And things like, the boot of a car
Mm-hmm.
or the trunk, two different things, right?
Yes.
Complete opposites, as it turns out.
Yes.
Are we speaking the same language? Well, it's English,
Right.
but does it mean the same?
Right.
No, it
No.
doesn't. And so this is where, when we communicate with people and we
Mm.
think we're communicating clearly, but we're getting
Yes.
frustrated or annoyed or angry, you need to just go, stop.
Yes.
Recognize that your perception, your interpretation, your understanding of these words is not
Yes.
necessarily the same as somebody else's.
So good.
And when we can communicate with ourselves with clarity, then that's where you can fill in that hole in the soul, because you're starting to understand and be
Yes,
clear
ma'am.
with yourself.
Mm.
And so language is huge. The internal chatter, not
Power.
just the words we speak. It's
Yes.
power, it's healing, it's energy,
All of
and
that.
it's connection. It's all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, look, I feel like you just took a bunch of people, including myself, back to school also, and just made,
Yay.
educated, re-educated. You have a beautiful gift, sis, to just make it plain. Just make it plain and simple and
Yeah.
help people connect those dots that they've been trying to figure out or understand,
Yeah.
and it goes back to, again, allowing.
And also
Allowing.
this, it's
Yes.
this, it's seeing the bigger picture. Go back into that analogy of going into that derelict house and
Yes.
trying to have a vision of what does the bigger picture look like.
Mm. So good.
Because when we can see from the 360 degree,
Yes.
instead of getting stuck in the little Polaroid snapshot of a portrait, right? We
Yeah.
get so lost, don't we, in the minutiae of the
Yes.
stuff, that we
Mm-hmm.
forget what are the big things. And when it comes to us as humans and how we function, the foundations are the key. It's our sleep, it's our
Simple.
nutrition, it's how
Mm-hmm.
we hold ourselves so that we can breathe properly.
Mm-hmm.
It's movement, right? And it's nourishment in terms of what are you reading, watching, listening to, hanging about with? Who are you surrounding yourself
Mm.
with? Because when we nourish ourselves with the stuff that helps us to feel able to give ourselves permission, to feel that we are a part of, but also uniquely us, and we can sit in our identity with confidence, but also with a sense of purpose, then
Yes.
that is what allows us to be the business person, the partner, the daughter, the sister, the aunt, the parent, whatever. And also to have the financial rewards, but to also have the health that means that we not only live longer, but we live longer healthy. And I think that's crucial.
Yes. It is absolutely crucial. Sis, you were purposed to be on this show today. I'm going to tell you right now. And and as I tell, the audience folks, we follow our flow on this show, girl. And you just allow the divine, you allow God to flow through you and just speak to you through you in such powerful ways to the people. And I am so grateful
Thank you.
for this candid conversation. It's important also for us to also, in just kind of our operating, being individuals in the collective, to know also and to allow someone else's light to shine, particularly when it's giving light and life, and helping to lead and guide the masses. Sis, I just thank you so much. Girl, I just, I can sit up here and just listen to you all day.
I think
And-
you said
Mhm.
something so important there,
Yeah.
and it's that we are individual,
Yes.
and it's okay for us to not have the same opinions and to not think the same way, because we're not going to. You said very clearly, when we go to university, we've all come from different economic, social backgrounds, from different religions, from different ways of thinking and being. And when you realize we don't all think the same, we don't all see things in the same way, but it doesn't make one person right and you wrong, or vice versa. It just means we're different. And so if we can just get away from this either or and recognize it's all and, because it's the and that fulfills the soul. It's not the extremes. The fun happens between the extremes. We get to play in the murky middle. And the murky middle is where we find joy, we find sadness, we know what lights us up, but we know what doesn't. We know what gives us a sense of purpose, and we know what we want to just leave behind. And it allows us to have a go, to give ourselves permission to try it, to like it, to try it, to not like it, to try it and go, not sure. And all of that's okay. And it doesn't have to be an either or. Let's just embrace the and.
I love it. I love it. Embrace the and or. Oh, audience, I need you guys to show Vicky Midwood some love. I mean, share your perspective shifts, your ahas, any lines. I need somebody to drive that give a go. What was it, Vicky? Give a go?
You never know.
You never know until you have a go. I love that.
Simple, quick, just give it a try.
I love it. Folks, I just want you to follow Vicky on social media, reach out to her, have a discovery, just have a conversation, a candid conversation, right? Don't forget, you have choice. If no one has ever said that, if you've never processed it, and you're just walking through life, kind of, you're making choices, right? But you don't understand what that really means, that it is your birthright, and that the path you're on, if it is snuffing out your soul, if it doesn't feel right, if it's not life-giving, you have a choice. You have a choice to pivot. And there are amazing people out there like Vicky Midwood who can help you direct your path just as well as we can here at Defining Paths International. And it is our privilege and our pleasure, I can tell you. And if you couldn't discern from this conversation, Vicky is a sanctuary. She is a safe haven, and she is nothing but love and goodness. And I thank you, sis, for being here today. I really, really do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so folks, don't forget to like and share. You should have already liked it. Share, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss these life-giving conversations. God, it's the reason that this is happening during Advent, a season of hope, peace, joy, and love. It's all love, right? And it's all for you. So make sure you set those notifications at Defining Paths Online on YouTube and stay plugged in. Faithful, I leave you with what I always leave you with, because it is fact and it is life. It's the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth of who you are, the truth of your soul journey, the truth of your experience. Just allow it. You heard Vicky just say, allow it. Accept it. Face the fear. Your call to action, think without the boxes. Unplug from the matrix. And all of the social, cultural, religious, all that programming that's holding you back is snuffing out your soul. And it's prohibiting, rather, the spirit from operating in you, from you hearing clearly, right? The conditioning, the worldly demands, the expectations of all these constructs, these man-made constructs, they're causing your mindless spirals. It's the reason you haven't been able to remove the mask that you've been wearing as false protections. Vicky just told you how the body works. She just told you that the mind's job is to protect you. You've been in a state of denial, perhaps, and unable to heal because you've been hiding from the truth. The truth will set you free. How did she break free? How did I break free? We had a candid conversation with ourselves, with our souls, and finally chose us. You can choose you. That's when you can pivot, heal, rebuild, and pursue your soul's purpose. So with faith as my foundation and that conscious intuition that Vicky also talked about, bringing that forward as my guide, I was able to become the captain of my fate and master of my soul, as did she. What is the candid conversation trying to erupt in your soul right now? Is it time to pivot? Is it time to define your own path? We're here for you. We're here to help you. Reach out, connect. We are called and committed to help you build your success on a firm foundation. So I'll leave you with that, faithful. Once again, this is the amazing, phenomenal, brilliant Vicky Midwood. And I'm DocV, the Pivot Maestro for your mind, body, and soul. And also your business. So handle your business literally and figuratively. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, set all those notifications. And as always, be true to you and define your own path. See you on our next episode. Vicky, much love. Thank you so much.